Hey guys, so I saw Birds of Prey, the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn last week. And a few days after that, studios ordered movie theaters to change the name to Harley Quinn Birds of Prey due to disappointing box office results. And I don't blame them. That was just way too long of a title. You can't even put that in a YouTube title without running out of... There's just no possible way to do it. Alright, let's just make my title here, Birds of Prey, and the... how do you spell fantabulous? I've never had to spell fantabulous once in my life.
1 hour later.
And did I mention it's currently the lowest grossing DC film in over a decade, ever since Jonah Hex. One of the best things about this film was I was invited to watch it in a new technology called ScreenX. And I've never been to a ScreenX movie before, I knew nothing about it, but I was like, hey, give me some popcorn and Sour Patch Kids, and I'll be there. ScreenX is the world's first multi-projection cinematic platform. It gives moviegoers a 270-degree viewing experience of the film, and it makes action films way more immersive. So stay tuned until the end of the video and we'll take a trip to the movie theater, and I'll give you my thoughts on the ScreenX experience. Or check out the links down below to find a ScreenX showing near you. Ever since this movie was announced, I was sort of excited to see a Harley Quinn movie. I loved what Robbie did with the character of Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad. It was one of the only redeeming things about that film, and every time she was on screen, I was like, that's fun, that's exciting, and give her her own solo movie. That could be a fun realm of watching a villainous character in the DC universe, and if anyone can pull it off, it's definitely Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. And then I saw the trailers for the movie, and I became instantly less excited and less intrigued. Now, in all fairness, marketing departments have screwed up movie marketing for years. I mean, look at movies like Dredd. That was an awesome rated R comic book rendition of the character of Judge Dredd, but it had terrible trailers, but it was a kick-ass movie. And I think one of the main reasons for the underwhelming box office performance thus far are those terrible trailers, and the name change at the last second to get more people to watch the movie at the theater, and I don't blame them for switching it up, but it also reminds me of another movie that came out. When this film originally came out in theaters, it was called Edge of Tomorrow. Once it hit Blu-ray, they changed the title to Live, Die, Repeat, and I'm curious if they'll do the same thing with this movie as well. In this movie, everyone's after a diamond that was stolen by a teenage girl named Cassandra Cain, and in the comics, this character is actually an incarnation of Batgirl. And in this movie, she's nothing like Batgirl. She's the furthest thing you could possibly get away from Batgirl. And I was thinking, wow, that would have been a really cool thing to do. It felt like such a big missed opportunity. But we'll talk more about missed opportunities in just a few seconds. Now, one thing I appreciated about Birds of Prey is it's rated R. It goes for it. It's not a hard R. But hey, if you're going to make a comic book movie rated R, I'm not going to complain. I hope that trend continues. And once again, Margot Robbie steals every scene as Harley Quinn. She has that character down perfect. Just her little mannerisms, her sayings. Hey, Puddin'. Hey, Mr. J. Yeah, I can't do it. Whenever I see Margot Robbie up on the big screen as Harley Quinn, I buy into it. I'm like, yeah, that's Harley Quinn. But the thing about Harley Quinn is she works best in ensemble cast films, like Suicide Squad. There's a lot of other characters. She pops up and she steals every scene. And you could say the same thing about Birds of Prey. It's an ensemble cast and type movie, but the first hour, or maybe like 60-70% of the movie, is dedicated solely to Harley Quinn doing things that aren't very interesting and you don't really care. This film's structure is very similar to another comic book movie, Deadpool. You have the character of Harley Quinn giving narration, and the story cuts back and forth to different timelines. I didn't dislike it, it's simply an observation. Yeah, I feel like this movie used the film Deadpool as inspiration of what it could have been or tried to be, but didn't quite get there. On a positive note, throughout the film, I did like the references to the DC universe. They mentioned Batman, the Joker, other events that involved Harley Quinn, and I like those things. Now, one big surprise when watching this film is it stars Rosie Perez, who plays a police detective, and I haven't seen Rosie Perez in a film since White Men Can't Jump. That's a great movie. Now, for the majority of this film, her character wears a t-shirt that says, "I shaved my balls for this," and the reason that she's wearing that is something happens to her shirt that she's wearing. She's at the police station and she says, "Do we have anything in Lost and Found?" And that's the shirt that she finds in Lost and Found to wear for like the rest of the movie. So she's walking around to all these things wearing that shirt. "I shaved my balls for this." And it's like the gag got really unfunny quick, and I just was like, really? You'd rather wear that than the shirt with some stains on it? I thought it was sort of stupid. I know, maybe that's just a nitpick, but for me, that's one blaring example of something that simply did not work, or one little minor detail that they didn't know how to fix and tweak to make better than it is. And that's what I feel like is the problem with this movie. There's so many little things that could have been better. They should have been better. They had the perfect setup to be better, but they don't ever capitalize on it. And that's frustrating when you watch a movie like this. Now let's talk about the bad guy of this movie, played by Ewan McGregor. I love that guy. And he plays the over-the-top sociopath known as Black Mask. And there are some similar characteristics between his interpretation of Black Mask and the Black Mask that you might have read in the comics. And I was pleasantly surprised by his performance in this movie. He sort of has this dark, twisted, outlandish, sociopathic dark comedy, and he just blurts out things, and I was like, it's funny. He says some funny things throughout this film, and it was some of the best moments in the movie. But I will say this: my biggest nitpick, my biggest negative, is the Black Mask. It's in the movie, but it's only there so they could say it was in the movie. Yeah, if you wanted to see the character of Black Mask wear the Black Mask, you will get to see that for about 47 seconds, but there's no build-up, there's no motivation, and there could have been, because there's many flashbacks and stories that he tells where he could have included that, but they simply just don't do it. It's just there, and then it's not. Now let's talk about the actual Birds of Prey, and by the time they culminate, the movie's basically over. And when it comes to this group of kick-ass women fighting, it was fun. It was fine. There's some random superpowers that randomly happen at the end of the movie where you go, whoa, where was that? But I will say my favorite character, surprisingly, out of the Birds of Prey characters was the character of Huntress, played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Her character is this really kick-ass assassin who's self-trained, revenging the death of her family. Sort of that cliche backstory, but they make fun of that, and I really enjoyed that. And I could see them expanding that character to go into different movies. Now, here are my final flicking thoughts on Birds of Prey, the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn. What a stupid title. Is this movie a disaster, a dumpster fire of epic proportions? No, it's not terrible, but it's just not very good either. This is a watchable movie that gets boring at times and a little bit clunky and jarring, and it's really unfortunate because you have good characters, you have good performances, the movie is competently made, the action is well filmed at times, but just nothing stands out. They don't really do anything that amazing where you're going to remember the movie the next day or talk about it. And that's really unfortunate because there was so much room for potential in this film. It's not like I hated my life when I was watching this movie. One of the best things about watching it that made it fun was watching it in ScreenX. By the way, stay tuned until the end of the video. We'll talk more about that. This movie is what I like to call a movie. I'm going to give Birds of Prey. Now here's my question for you. Let me know down below. If you've seen the movie, let me know what you thought about it. Now let's stuff our pockets with candy from the dollar store and go to the movie theater to watch ScreenX. So I'll see you there. I'm gonna go this way. Alright guys, I'm here at the movie theater, my favorite place to go on earth. It's almost a cathartic experience every time I'm here. And I'm going to watch Birds of Prey in a special format called ScreenX. And it's a new technology, and what they do is they utilize 3 screens to give you more of an immersive experience, and that's what I'm all about. So I've never watched a ScreenX movie before. I'm excited to check it out, and I'll let you guys know what I think right after the movie. So I'm gonna eat some popcorn, and I'll see you after the movie.
I thought she was just a pretty face.
Nothing gets a guy's attention like violence. Yes! Toss that for me, will you?
Alright, the movie's over. I'm all out of Sour Patch Kids. But yeah, that was my first ScreenX experience with Birds of Prey. And I'll give you the simplification of how the technology works. What happens is when you watch the movie up on the screen, it projects extensions of the scenery on each side of the wall in the auditorium. That way when you're watching like an action scene, it's way more immersive. You feel like you're in the middle of it. Like there's a car chase sequence in this movie, and when you're watching it, it's like the city streets are flying by you on each side. And that technology really works for like an action film. I liked it for that. It's not something you'd probably watch The Lighthouse in. Yeah, definitely check it out. And if you guys want to see if there's a ScreenX playing near you, click the links down below in the description box. As always, guys, thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time.